Good evening, folks, and welcome to the War Party Paranormal Radio Show, where we will discuss all things paranormal. Hear firsthand eyewitness accounts from fellow team members and special guests. Now, for lead investigator and your host, Eric Vanderlaan, and co-host, Michael Del Toro.
What's up, my paranormal people? Happy Monday. Hope you all had a good weekend and the ladies had a good Mother's Day. And what's up to all my people in the chat? We have some awesome followers here. I'm Eric. I'm your host for War Party Paranormal Radio and team leader of War Party Paranormal Research. And I also have my partner over there.
What's up, guys? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Mike Del Toro. I'm a tech specialist and investigator with War Party Paranormal. And we got a super exciting show for you guys tonight. I'm going to let Eric tell you what we're getting into.
Yep, I'm very excited. And we're gonna have like questions and answers at the end of the show. So you guys are watching, start thinking of some questions you want to ask when we get to the latter part of the show. But we have a very special guest. We have the godfather of the paranormal. We have Johnny Zaffis. How awesome is that?
Super exciting.
Yep.
The godfather of the paranormal.
Yep, that's for sure. And we also have another guest, a surprise guest. And you've seen her on our chat. We have Marla Scottie Burns. We call her Scottie. She's co-founder of War Party Paranormal. So how cool is that?
Yeah.
Two special people.
Exactly. And both of them have like over 40 years of experience in the field. So
probably longer than that. Way longer.
Yeah, no, for sure. So this is going to be
not that old though. I'm not gonna say that.
All right, cool. So
all right, so we're not gonna waste any time. We're gonna do a little intro with Scottie that we made for her, and then we'll bring her on the show, and then we'll bring Mr. Zaffis. And here we go. Said Eric, there's one more name you got to say. Can you say it?
I heard old too.
No, that's not her name.
They don't like me. They don't want to say my name.
Is Scottie, right? You don't like her? You think Scottie is respectful to you? Guys should get lost.
Is that you? Because I've really missed your flirting. You always said the sweetest things.
I think he needs another bottle of wine.
I do.
See? That wasn't us laughing, and I haven't like turned the camera off, so I've been filming this whole time, so we know who's laughing.
One of the volunteers here is a Palm Beach County sheriff, and she said that the first time she ever worked a murder, it was this house when it was situated in Lake Worth before it was moved here.
That's always cool.
Oh yeah, it was a Haitian couple. The woman chopped the man up with a machete in the bathtub.
whoa, you see that?
I saw that.
Each one is individual. That's just power.
They all went off at the same time.
And just so you know, it's nothing to do with him vibration from him.
That was
step.
EMF going down.
As soon as you stepped, it went off.
That's our co-founder.
That
We love her.
Yeah, I've never seen that clip before.
No, because you weren't around then.
Yeah, that was before me.
That was pre-beard days. I didn't have a beard back then. Clean shaven. I got lazy.
The baby face.
Yeah. So, without further ado, let's bring on Scottie. There she is.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Scottie, how we doing?
All right. What's going on,
Awesome.
guys?
Glad to have
Tommy got you on
finally
the
here.
show. Right?
Yeah.
Speechless. So, Scottie, for those people that are watching right now, I know I mentioned to them about everyone asks like, how did War Party get started and where did the logo come from? And I give them my story, but I want everyone to hear your story about that.
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, John's the one, Zapp, he's the one that really started it. He had the name and the logo ready. And the way he explains it is the War Party logo, he's half Cherokee, but he saw the skull design and he put War Party Paranormal around it. And he said he wanted to name it that, which I agreed with, because we're always fighting a battle, whether it's against, something paranormal, but we fight battles all the time with perceptions of what we do. People think you're crazy when you tell them what you do. Yeah, I'm a paranormal investigator.
We are a little bit crazy.
That? Oh, I'm a ghost hunter. Let's put it your way. Oh, you're one of those people. It's like, yeah, let me tell you about what we do. But we go in and we fight for our clients, and we fight for our reputation, because there's a lot of teams out there that aren't really as experienced as we are. Let's put it that way.
That's for sure. Not to brag.
Yeah. So like the main, like we said before, the main goal of War Party Paranormal is to help people that are having problems with the paranormal in their day-to-day lives. And, we host these events where people can come out and interact with us and see what we do, see the equipment. And, it makes people also comfortable with us because they're meeting us in person. So they can come over to us, say, hey, we got this going on. And anything that we do is completely confidential as far as residentials and things of that nature. And, we're here to help.
Exactly. And we spread the word out through our events and our stories on Premier Impacto, which is coming on this Friday night. The Ann Stevens house in Casadega. That's a surprise. Scottie didn't know about that. That's airing Friday.
I did not. But I don't speak Spanish, so I just watch and go.
Subtitles.
Put the subtitles instead. Then you could read it. But anyway, yeah. So, and then this radio show. So we just get the word out. We want everyone to know that we're out there and we're here to help. So we have someone waiting, and I don't want him to wait too long.
Nope.
And Scottie, this is your friend. I'm going to let you introduce Mr. Johnny Zaffis.
Well, I think you just did. But I mean, everybody who's anybody in the paranormal world knows Johnny Zaffis. He is the godfather of the paranormal. He is the haunted collector. He is the one, the only Mr. Johnny Zaffis.
Hey guys.
Well, did you want to roll the intro there, Eric?
Oh, we have an intro.
Oh,
I got too excited. Johnny, I'm sorry. You just couldn't wait. I was too anxious.
Bye.
We did.
All right.
Mike got creative.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, we'll send it to you.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll send it to you after.
Yeah, I like that. I like it.
Cool.
I told you they did a great job.
They sure do.
So, Johnny, man, really nice to meet you. I'm Mike Del Coro, and it's an honor to have you here.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
definitely.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. Who's this lady Scottie over here?
We just brought her on.
Oh,
I don't know nothing.
True
I'm in the presence of greatness.
oh, stop that.
story.
Uh,
So, first of all, thank you for coming on our show. And you pretty much known Scottie for a while, and you know pretty much what War Party's all about. And we were talking about a bunch of things like before we started the show when we were in the studio. But this show is most of these people that are on the show that are watching are paranormal investigation themselves. So they're going to want to learn from the Godfather. I just wanted to start out by like, what do you do that's unique that maybe most people won't know about you? We all know, like, you know, you like to collect haunted objects, but could you tell us, elaborate on more on that?
as far as the paranormal, or
Yeah, when you do investigations, like you were talking about, that you do residential cases, things like that.
I don't know if I would really consider anything I do that's really unique, but I think I refer to it more as old world, because
Right.
you know, again, everybody around me that I work with and everything, I mean, I just get the biggest kick out of all the equipment. You know, it takes some hours to set all this stuff up. They put everything up, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, granted, we need that. I'm 100% for it because some dynamite evidence comes out of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm more still where I like to go in, see what's happening, talk to the people. You know, that's still my MO with a lot of stuff. And I always laugh at the end, or, you know, at the end, you know, we'll walk away from an investigation or something. They go, how do you figure all this out? How do you do all that? I said, after a while, when you're in this, you learn to start connecting the dots with certain things and just
Definitely.
flowing in. And it's a big help, you know, in trying to resolve things on whether you're going to be able to move forward and be able to help those, you know, individuals out or not.
Right,
So
exactly.
I guess maybe, you know, just my old worldness is probably still just a little bit of an asset to the community.
Yeah, definitely. No, we like that too. Like, we like to change things up and like go old school. Scottie, we have Earl Marie, who used the cone that was used during the age of spiritualism.
It's called
They
the
have like
trump.
the trumpet. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they do some table tipping and things.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
what I said,
not an
but back-
investigation, but
back in the day when like I started in the you know in the 70s, 60s and 70s, I mean, you had, you know, a reel to reel, a Brownie camera. If you were lucky, you got a Polaroid and you could afford to film. And you had baby powder and compass, and I mean, you know, that was and a flashlight. That was basically what you had in your toolkit.
Yeah.
You know? So you learn to talk to people to try and figure out what was going on. Nowadays, John's right. A lot of them just charge in with the equipment and they don't bother talking to the people to find out, to connect the dots, like you said, Johnny.
Yeah. Again, to the your basics with it is a very important thing when trying to evaluate anything. I mean, all of us know, you know, the big to do today is everybody's got a demon coming up through the floorboards. Drives me out of my freaking skull. So again, you know, me being a demonologist, I don't throw that out to the forefront. You know, I'm a paranormal investigator, and that's how I look at myself. Demonology is one part of the work of it. And, you know, again, I have to say, you know, a lot of the cases we get involved with, you know, again, you could find human spirit, you could find other issues, other things that can be causing the paranormal or the supernatural activity to be occurring, and it doesn't necessarily mean that Satan's coming up through the floorboards. It drives me out of my freaking mind when people do that.
Yeah.
The other thing too that I try to get across to people, and it's important, and I know it's all due to the TV shows, including even mine, is that somebody will call me up and they're working on a case and they can't figure nothing out or anything, and they'll go, "We didn't get any scientific evidence to back it up." And I this will never change till the day I'm gone. What scientific evidence? Okay, we're collecting data, and we need to do that. I'm all for that. But to be able to prove something out scientifically, we have to have repeatability. Mm-hmm. And Casper the Ghost just doesn't normally repeat itself. It'll do its tricks and trades and things like that, and you can't get it to repeat. So therefore, we're not actually following a scientific method. So, but again, like I say, I don't ever discourage people from gathering that data, because someday we're going to be able to chart it. Someday we're going to be able to do something with all that, all those recordings and all those different things. So again, I look at it from a lot of that perspective of getting involved with it. But that drives me crazy. The other thing that drives me crazy too is when anybody pipes up and starts calling themselves an expert. There's no one that's an expert in this field. No one.
Not until you die.
Not
after you die, then maybe you'll know. No, right? That's what I tell everyone.
Yeah. And they'll go, "John, you are an expert." And I go, "No." They go, "John, you're hitting 50 years in this field." I go, "No." I go, "Don't you understand? That's what keeps me going. The drive behind all of it. What's happening? Why is it happening? We understand a lot more of it now, and we got a better comprehension of, with PK, psychic kinetic energy, and, how it intermingles with everything. And a lot of that is important elements. So again, it's interesting and intriguing to get involved with it, and watching, newer people getting involved with it and trying to get them to understand, the basics with it, and just don't plunge into something, especially residentials. I'm very guarded with residential cases.
You deal with people. It's real life.
You're dealing with their lives. You're dealing with their homes,
and you're dealing with their trust.
Yeah, and again, going in and assessing a situation. Take your time. You don't have to answer something right away if you're not exactly sure on what's going on. And then planting that fear in a person's mind that they got demons in their house, that's a lot to work with once that's done. And it's difficult.
I was going to segue into something, I say it a lot. And Scottie also, we've talked about this before, that, not everything's demonic. Like you said, from the TV shows.
Very rare.
I always say that if you were an a-hole in life, then you're probably an a-hole in your afterlife. And sometimes, and that comes about where, you might get things that are a little nasty or here, and that doesn't mean that it's demonic. It means that it's, somebody being a jerk.
Yeah. Again, too, that a classic thing that I often say, Mike, is, if a person was a mean, abusive, drunk, or, anything in life, they're going to be like that in spirit form also. Thus, we have to realize that, we're going to have the situations where we're dealing with, a human spirit that's just plain freaking nasty. Exactly. So again, it's a situation of it.
I do want to take exception to your saying you're not an expert, because being an expert doesn't mean that you have a degree or anything, but to be doing this as long as you have come across more situations and more different energies and more varied in different people and locations. So when you come across something, it'll generally be something that you can relate to another case, or you can relate to another location or something, because you've been doing this so long. So there are no experts in the field. I get that, but you're an expert at doing the investigations. You're an expert at dealing with the people. You're an expert at knowing the difference between a residual and an intelligent haunt. You know, so don't sell yourself short by saying you're not an expert, because you are in your own way. I'm trying to be nice there, Johnny. Come on.
Well, thank you. You know, and I appreciate that. But one of the reasons I don't ever like putting that on there is because the simple fact that even to this day, there'll be things I'll be involved with or get involved, and I'll go, you know what? I have to look at that a little bit differently now from the way I used to. I know it doesn't take away from that particular. Actually, this came up. Excuse me. No, I don't have COVID. It came up earlier from another very good friend. I'm sure you guys know Andrea Perron. Her and I were speaking earlier, and she goes, "You're one of the experts." I go, "Don't you ever effing call me an expert." But anyhow,
you had a good mentor, though.
Yeah, you know, again, it's the fact of it, and I don't know. I just don't ever look at it from that perspective. But that's me.
Experience counts for a lot, and you know that's something that it takes years and decades to acquire.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something what do you call somebody who's an expert craftsman? You know, they've practiced their craft for years and they've become an expert at it. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
So
now we can blow
Johnny's the master craftsman, though.
So I have a question for our for you, for our viewers to listen to, and that's. It's a very common question that you probably get a lot, but I'd love to hear it, and I'd love for our listeners to hear it. And that's how you got into the field to begin with. And I don't know, and I think I've heard the story, and I think it's awesome, and I'd love to hear you tell us.
Well, I was 16 years old, and I grew up in the 70s, and I was a flower child, and that's all I'm freaking telling you. But anyhow, it was a Wednesday night, and this is what actually solidified it for me. And I can even tell you it was November 11th. I believe it was November 11th. Anyhow, it was a Wednesday evening. I woke up, and I looked at the foot of my bed, and there was a tall shadow form shaking its head back and forth. Now, with that, I ran downstairs and was telling my mom, I go, there was just something up in the room. And she goes, did it say or do anything? I said, well, it just stood there. I could see through it, and it shook its head back and forth. She goes, well, Johnny, that's your grandfather. And I go, Ma, how do you know it was, your father? She goes, you're not going to remember, but he was a very stern man. Didn't say very much, but he would always shake his head back and forth. And a few days after that, my grandmother passed away. She lived with us. Now, my mother and Ed Warren were twins, but they were night and day. You said, goes to my mother, she start crying. You say, goes to Ed, he go, where?
Where?
So, now prior to that, I did do a little poking around in cemeteries and, Phelps Mansion. I don't know, Scotty, you might remember that Phelps Mansion in Stratford, Connecticut in the late 1800s. People came in from all over the world. That's the town I live in to investigate it. So me and a couple of my friends would go in there. And, to this day, I still said something had transpired and happened in there. So anyways, I went up and I was telling my uncle the whole story about it. My uncle looked at me and he goes, you mean you really didn't believe in any of this? I go, no, I thought you were doing it to make a quick buck. Seriously. That, was the way it went back and forth, and as time was going on, a lot of times my mom would make family dishes, and she'd go, take them up to my brothers. They lived 20 minutes north of here. So I'd end up in the car with them. We'd end up going someplace. Sometimes I wouldn't come back to the following day, or, you didn't know where you were going to end up. And that's how I got inducted into really getting to that point of understanding it and going around and checking different things out. Then as time went on, again, come on, kid, you want to go with us? We're going someplace. You didn't know where you were going to end up. I ended up at, exorcisms. Who the freak goes to exorcisms when they're, 17, 18, and 19 years old? But that's what opened me up to seeing what Judaism was, Buddhism,
How did you handle that at that age?
shaman.
Exorcism.
I looked at it as probably differently than most people because I would try to analyze things
Mm-hmm.
and I would try to understand different things. And then it ended up exposing me to meeting some of their clergy friends that they would, work with and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, boom, it hit. One day I was dropping off, I probably pierogies, if I remember correctly. But anyways, Lorraine was there in the kitchen and I go, well, where's my uncle? And she goes, well, he's downstairs. Why, dear? I go, I think I want to try to figure out and learn some more about all this demonology stuff. Dropped what she had in her hands and the sink and went, oh dear, like that, and started screaming for Ed anyways. Went down, sat with him, and he went through all these different things and, what to be cautious of. Your life is going to change and blah, 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 blah. Again, and, he leaned forward and he looked at me and he goes, well, what do you think? I go, I'm not worrying about it. He looked at me. He goes, I am. He goes, you're my blood. You're my nephew. And if something happens, I don't want to have to deal with my sister.
Yeah.
And, again, as things unfolded and I started even getting involved after that when, in my 20s up, and it just went from there. But it helped me to develop analytically, to accept all different belief systems, all different religions. And
yeah, you have to.
People think Ed and Lorraine were these very staunch Roman Catholic individuals.
Mm-hmm.
That was their belief system. That was their practice. But they did get involved with a lot of other different cases and different belief systems, non-believing. And it just opened up a lot for me to take that step back and look at a lot of different things.
And
right.
And
And
a lot
it
of
did. And it made me realize and understand and be able to incorporate so much into looking and perceiving on so many different practices, Wiccan, pagan. I find a lot of the different things fascinating, but today the stigma isn't as bad as it used to be. Where people think they're out burning and chopping up babies.
Yeah, you're becoming more educated.
Yes. And again, I try to do the same thing on the flip side of it because, again, I think it's important that people get an understanding of the old world things and, the way things are practiced and the way they're handled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think
that was my introductory to getting involved with the supernatural.
that's one heck of a story.
50,
Yeah,
it'll be
definitely.
50 years ago this year.
Now, I'm just curious. Are you sensitive at all?
People
You
say
sensitive?
I am. People claim I am. Again, I look at it. There's points and times where things occur, things happen,
Mm-hmm.
and I can relate to it. I think everybody has the ability to pick up on things. I think when we get involved with this field, things develop more.
Yeah. Well, I totally agree what you said in the beginning is that, with all the tech and all the equipment and everything, it's like when you go into an investigation, you got to go in there first and open up your mind.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with that. Sorry for the interruption, but I was just
No, that's okay. The basics are important. And so many people are skipping that today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an important element, to have that. But it's our society. It's the way it is, and we all try to deal with it and, get a grasp on it. But again, being able to know if something's around or will I walk in places and go, this is too freaking creepy. Yeah. But I think, again, it came from over the years that, being exposed to all this or anything. Because if somebody said, oh, do a reading on me, I'd bust out laughing. I would just start laughing. Again, it's the nature of it. But
now, when you did these exorcisms, did you guys feel a need to protect yourself or to cleanse yourself after? And if you did, what did you do?
okay, I'm Roman Catholic, a practicing Roman Catholic. I do follow my faith. To the surprise of a lot of people, they go, "You?" And I go, "Yeah, I do, believe it or not." But I'm a very firm believer in the power of prayer.
Yeah, me too.
And the other thing too, with several people within my organization, when we're out there doing or anything, I always tell them, call upon what it is you believe in to help protect yourself. You got people chanting, you got people praying, you got people humming. That's fine. That's cool because they're calling on the positive.
Positive,
And
yep.
I think all of that come together, is a great form of protection.
Well, that's one of the first things that Zap, the other co-founder, said to me when I first met him to join the team. Is he goes, I don't care what religion you are. It doesn't matter to me as long as you bring that positive vibe and to do the right thing. And that's very similar to what you're saying there. And a lot of these belief systems are all basically like a template, right? Like kind of like everyone's a little different, but they're all in the same.
They have links to each other.
Yeah. Like no, that's fascinating.
If you stop and you think about this, and this is something that I just came up with one day many years back. I just said to myself, how can you pinpoint one particular thing when everything derives from all the old world belief systems? I mean, Wiccan and pagan, all this pre-exists organized religions. I mean, Greece, Italy,
Mayan, Azteca, Inca,
everything, all these different belief systems. And the jinn predates everything. But yet you have to learn to understand it and respect it. And a lot of these things are incorporated. Now, another major thing too, a lot of people say, well, Christianity is known for exorcisms. I go, no, it's actually derived from Judaism. They did the original rites of exorcism when it came in, and we incorporated it into Christianity. And people a lot of times will stand there and look at me and go, huh? And I go, oh, yeah. Basics 101, with comprehending and understanding a lot of it. So,
yeah. And it's true about positivity. And I also believe fear. And one thing about with Scottie is she has no fear. She's like a bouncer, like throwing someone out of a bar when we go into a place. She's awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad you don't have that video.
Yeah. Scottie don't take no crap.
Yeah. I know, and I don't have any fear. And it's like, but I know I'm protected. I know what I got. And I know also that, like I said, everybody's like, oh no, you have to have the Catholic Church to do an exorcism. And it's like, so what? Before the Catholics were around, everybody just ran around possessed and nobody could help them. It's like, no, people have been,
you're right.
People have been doing this since spirituality and mankind evolved.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't have to be, for me, and it's my belief, you don't have to be a Catholic priest to do an exorcism, to help somebody get rid of a demon. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, but it's good 2 cents.
Hey, inflation, it's worth 5 now.
Our stock is going up.
So how did you get into the collecting side of things?
Again, that it was a bizarre thing, and it was many years ago. Now, I had gone with that. I went up to Ed and Lorraine's. I was dropping food off, and they said, come on, you want to go with us? It was a local case, and a woman collected these little tiny statues, and she picked this one up, added it to her collection. It was moving around. She was scared to death of it. Then all Ed and Lorraine did was remove it from the house. Ed and Lorraine did the few prayers and did a few things there. My uncle took it and threw it in the back seat. He goes, you want that, kid? I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with that, right? But again, it took me years to comprehend and understand the way that he taught. And it was always very cryptic. It was always, in the situation, the heat of the moment. Now, he knew by doing that, that was going to trigger something within me to start researching haunted items, which it did. Now, back then, you had to go get books. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have any of it. I don't know how we made it, but anyhow, I pick up books and just start reading about these different haunted items. And then I would see them and I would go, I picked up this book. I was reading about this haunted chair over, in Scotland, England, and the most famous haunted item, the Hope Diamond. And he would just look at me and smile and laugh. But he was...
Because he knew you as his nephew, that knew that it would intrigue you. So he
to
kind
go
of
poke around to see what I can find out about things. And that's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always, what would end up happening. So again, that's what got me going and got me intrigued with the haunted items. And again, it helped out because, again, for 3 years, got to go out there and do a TV show on haunted items. So
I love that show.
Yeah.
How many items do you have?
Huh?
How many items do you have?
I couldn't even tell you. I'll put it to you this way. Hoarders would be able to do 2 or 3 episodes in my barns. They'd have a blast with it. Watching me freak out when they go to open some of the boxes.
if you need help like organizing and inventory and stuff, Mike and I will volunteer our services.
Yeah, we'll help.
And Scotty.
Thanks.
As long as we can bring our recorders.
Yeah.
But that's how it came about. And the funny thing was the little statue ended up going MIA. The production company had taken it and they lost it.
Oh, no.
They were using it for a promo, right? But then when they were cleaning out the locker at the end of it, one of the guys calls me up, Johnny, we found your little statue. I go, where the frick was it? They go, it was in a bin with some of the camera equipment when we had taken it back. Anyways, I ended up getting it back, so I was very happy over it.
Yeah, heck yeah. So,
I mean, it's worthless. But
no, not
I
at
also
all.
want to say that your show, when the Haunted Collector came on, it also helped bring the paranormal into the mainstream more, and it made life easier for the rest of us. You know,
it made things less taboo. Less.
People were willing to talk about it.
I think so. I think I look back at it now because first season, I mean, literally, we all got shredded. We were thieves. We're stealing stuff out of people's houses. It was unbelievable that, but again, I was fortunate enough where I had that tough skin from being around Ed and Lorraine because they were always getting shredded. So, I would go, how did they handle it? What did they do? And I always followed that lead. So again, now here we are so many years later, and they do these little mini marathons, which I freaking love. We get more ratings and more people.
They just did one.
Yeah, today. And it was phenomenal. And, so many new people get to tune in, and the perception and the understanding of it is different now. It's not that, stigma that was there. And the only one thing that, pisses me off is that I wish my uncle was around to go, see, I broke ground too.
He did.
Like they did. That's right. That's right.
So someone just asked if you still have your most prized possession. And what is that? What is your most prized possession?
It varies. Yes, I've never, I don't part with anything.
Okay.
Again, absolutely. It depends on what it is. Is it something personal or something that came from one of the investigations? Or is it something a clergy or a spiritual person had given me? I mean, okay, you guys will love this. Just recently, when I was out and did a conference, and we had Thunderbird come over us. I don't know if any of you guys heard about that. And come to find out, 2 of the Navajo guys that were there were, practicing their thing and everything like that. And they were thrilled to death. And we were on the phone talking afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, you know what? I said, I got a couple of really unique items. And I was explaining one of them was a protection bag that was made for me by a medicine man. And another one was a peace pipe. And both the brothers were talking to me. They go, you're actually a brother and you don't even realize it. And I go, what do you mean? They go, those are very, very spiritual items, John, that were given to you. And they only do that when they see something positive in an individual to do something like that. And I went, oh, cool. I said, all right, cool.
Cool.
So,
That's awesome.
yeah. So again, you know, it just goes all over the place. With
Did you pass around the peace pipe?
not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Just making sure.
Wait till you come down.
Yeah.
Gosh.
You have that
So-
seminal peace pipe.
Hey, I'm feeling a little left out here. You guys all have beards, so
Right. There you go.
There
do I
you
need a
go.
beard here. What do you
There you
think?
go.
Sorry.
I have a beard on this show. So we're like just past the halfway mark. So what are you up to now? Like what's your do you have any projects you're working on?
That you
Things
can
like
talk
that.
about.
That you can talk about. I know something might be hush hush.
Everything's always hush hush, but it ends out in the paranormal community. I swear you cannot keep a secret from nobody anyway. But anyhow, you know, there's a few things brewing. You know, things got shut down during COVID. There's something else. You know, a few different projects that you know I might consider. I am not a big one for like to film or to be out on the road because everybody thinks, oh, it's so glamorous. Oh, you're out on the road, you're filming. No, you're sleeping, eating, traveling, filming, and it just keeps going and going. And I go, what people don't understand is you break that down, you make more going to work at freaking McDonald's than you will film a freaking TV show. But again, you had a couple of things that are brewing. Well, you know, wait to see what happens with that. I'm back investigating again, back out doing
You're
the
talking about doing
conferences.
residentials, right?
Yeah. Yep. Back out, getting back out there doing it and just back out doing the conventions at the end of the month there. I got a couple coming up and looking forward to that. So,
You still doing lectures?
oh, yes. I will never stop doing lectures unless I go batshit crazy and I can't do them anymore. I will continue to lecture. That's one of my most favorite things is the fall time. And I'm very big on a lot of with the colleges and universities going on campuses. Yeah, that's for the past several years. That's been a big bulk of what I like to do. And my biggest thing with that is just intermingling with the kids. I love it.
Yeah.
Again, it's just the best time that you can have, getting all the kids, the faculty, and sometimes going into a building that might possibly be haunted or something. I love it.
Well, you know what we do? We do this once a year at probably the most haunted place in Miami called the Deering Estate.
I was just thinking that.
And we have these middle school kids from a forensics class that come and do a field trip at night, and we show them the tools, how to do an investigation at a known haunted location, and we get like evidence like right on the spot.
Yeah. How many kids were there when last time we were there?
We had 60, but I've done it when we've had over 100. And the state's huge. There's like different homes, and you walk around in. But they're like, I mean. Because I don't even think of my kids, and my kids think I'm a big nerd, and they're embarrassed of me. I know how to keep the boyfriends away. It's like, oh, I'll bring out my paranormal equipment. But the kids loved it. I couldn't believe how much they were into it.
I wish I had that class when I was in middle school.
Yeah, we had Susan Slaughter with us as our guest last time. Yeah. So that was a blast.
Yeah, she's a great person. Great person.
Yeah, she is. And she started investigating at the Deering Estate. That was her first time there in 15
Really?
years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, she was fun to investigate with. I had
She knows her stuff. I was surprised.
Yeah.
She blew my mind away.
Oh yeah.
She was even doing the table tipping.
Mm-hmm.
So, Johnny, do you feel that we're in the midst of a new spiritual age, like there was, and there's like a shift in like the people's belief system now, especially like after COVID, where everybody was kind of locked in their house? A lot of things are going on in the world today, and I think I feel that people are kind of going more towards spiritualism and different things. What's your feeling upon that?
I think it's something that it's difficult. It's hard. I think a lot of us had to take that step back and reevaluate a lot of different things.
Definitely.
Going forward, we're going into a different level with the paranormal. There's no doubt. I am seeing it. I'm experiencing it with other people. It shifted a lot of people and made people realize and look at a lot of things and reevaluate. Again, I think also too, with the simple fact, I noticed another shift just due to the war that broke out. A tremendous shift took place within our spiritual realm and the communications. Ron Alcavetti, I know him very good friends. He's got this piece of equipment. He had it set up at the Shanley, and they were trying to communicate with the spirit within the Shanley Hotel in upstate New York. And this woman comes through, and she's talking in broken English. They're killing, everybody's dying, and the bombing and all this other stuff is going off. I'm sitting there listening to this, and I was just like, I didn't even know what to do, and everybody was quiet. There was like 10 of us there, and I just jumped up out of my chair, and I walked over, and I got closer listening to it, and I threw my hands up in the air. I go, please tell me somebody else is hearing this woman communicating about the freaking war. Because it freaked me out. And then he just explained all of it and everything with the techie stuff, and 3 other people piped up and said the same thing, that, they felt it was a communication, whether it was live. And Ron was able to explain that it wasn't a radio frequency that was coming through, because that was the first thing that I thought of. And, but anyhow, I think this is causing a shift along with the pandemic and a lot of other things that have occurred. Now, on the flip end of it too, I'm sorry, this whole thing has made a lot of people a lot meaner. People have really gotten
that economy,
about everything, and I'm just seeing it. People are just saying whatever they want, and regardless of, with circumstances and certain things, I still think, you need to look at things and take a step back when, a person is speaking or a person is doing something. And, when you're lecturing or anything like that, I still think, again, you have to have that respect. I'm not saying nothing about opinions. Again, I would never do that. So again, we're all entitled to it. And to be honest with you, people with opinions are people that I gravitate more towards, because they're open and they're honest, and that's why I love my friend Scottie. So again, she
says how it is. She says it like how it is,
and that's what I love about her. She's her, but she's still my friend. She's still my friend.
Wouldn't be anybody else.
But again, that's what I'm saying. So yes, Mike, to be able to answer you, do I see a shift? Do I think we're going to see a difference with activity? Yes, I think that's already happening. And I think a lot more is going to come to the forefront due to the combination of several things happening within our world.
And I also, just to tie up that second part to the same question, is I would love to hear what you think about the total human consciousness. Like there's theories out there that we're all connected, and all the consciousness can weigh things in different directions. And do you feel like that's a relevant theory to any of this?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, when we look at we're all made of energy, and our energies connect, again, do I think that that's affecting a lot of it? Yes, because a lot of people have altered and changed their way of thinking or their perspectives on different things. So therefore, as far as the collective energy, I was a new ager, believe it or not. Again, I still, I believe very strongly in some of the perspectives of all that. And again, I look at when things connect, energies connect, it's an important element. I mean, again, today, okay, here's something that, how all of us go into an area and we're at a party or something, and we look at we'll look at somebody and go, I don't even want to go near that person. I don't want to even connect to a person. That is so strong now with environment and people due to all the circumstances, where you just get that ucky feeling being around in certain elements, certain situations.
And spirits can be the same thing, right?
Huh?
And spirits can be like the same thing. The
absolutely.
Negative energy.
Absolutely.
Energy.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, looking at all that, yes, I have to answer that the shifting is taking place. So I think the consciousness of all of it together is being altered or has been affected. There's no doubt about that. Yes.
Awesome. Very, very great insight on that, for sure.
So let's take some questions from our viewers. Kindred Paranormal, they wanted to know, do you have a favorite type of city, location? Do you prefer residentials, jails, sanatoriums? Is there like anything that like sticks out that like when you know you're going to do it or go there, or you're going to get like freaking excited about it?
Everything.
Yeah.
There isn't, especially, because everybody thinks I've been everywhere. You'd be surprised the amount of places I've never been. So, if it's going
Miami.
to... Yeah. I've never been in Miami. I've never been there. Here. I go down as far as Orlando and that area because I have like 150 relatives down there. But anyway,
go on down.
And then you got Scotty.
Hey, got Scotty. There's a lot of beaches down there, Scotty.
Yeah.
Stop.
But anyhow, it's the excitement.
Right.
It's the excitement on, depending on the history, what's involved with it. I still, get excited over.
Probably like a new place, right? New place filled with history, right?
I am still like a kid in a candy store with a new location. And I love doing that, especially with a group of people, because then I get to experience things right along with them.
Yep. And we got the candy for you, though.
So, again, all of the above. I would say out of anything, I'm more cautious and guarded with residential.
Yeah. It's a whole different beast.
Yeah, it actually is,
People are involved.
People are involved. So much comes into tie with that I'm very guarded and very, very careful because there's, let's face it, there's a ton of residential cases I would love to just go public with, but families choose not to do it. I respect that. They choose to go public. I'm a happy camper, but either or, it doesn't matter to me one way or another. What
residentials are exciting because you never know what you're going to walk into. You never.
It's always a surprise.
You can do all the phone interviews and everything else, but until you
starts pumping,
knock on that door and somebody opens it and you see exactly what you're walking into, it could be anything from a hoarder house to a mansion. You never know.
It can be one of the most ticky-tock people you're ever going to run into in your freaking life. Okay, funny quick story, because I know you guys will love this. This is going back 30 years. Got called in to do an investigation. This girl calls, her grandmother's house is real haunted. We go, okay, blah, 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 everything like that. We're talking, everything. We go upstairs. We're setting up and everything. The grandmother freaking wigs out, and there's 3 of us in the upstairs bedroom, and she goes in the kitchen and gets her freaking knife, and she's standing down at the bottom of the stairs. All 3 of us researchers jump out the freaking window. We ended up on a garage roof. But, I mean, we just grabbed our equipment and just jumped out the window. And I'm like, to that day, I always said, guys, give it a few minutes. Let's see what this is like before we pull all our equipment and everything out to make sure, we can figure out some of the environment.
Yeah, we're not going to have somebody coming out with a knife.
Yeah, and I always use that as my gauge. We had a grandma chase us with a freaking butcher knife, and the old man jumped out a freaking window.
Too bad you can't share that on film. It's like to be seen. So one of our actually another viewer asked, they want to know, like, how did you and Scottie meet?
Hey, us old dogs have been around for a long time.
Very, very long time. Yes, very long time. If I remember correctly, Scottie. Yes. Yeah. Might have been TapsCon. Might have been. I think it was before that. Wait a minute. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I knew you before that, but I don't remember. It was a long time ago. I've known you forever.
It's been a long time. You got, again, too, a lot of us connected just back when I worked with, my aunt and uncle, Ed and Lorraine. A lot of us just connected at that point in time, either just chit-chatting on the phone or going back and forth with emails when that finally came out. So
my mother was in contact with Ed and Lorraine back in the 60s. So, I mean, it's been a long time. She contacted them. I saw my first paranormal team in 1968. They came from Harrisburg and did our house up there in Pennsylvania. So, but I remember my mom talked to Ed and Lorraine. So,
yeah,
who knows?
Yeah. So I got to do like a quick commercial break because we're getting towards that time. But the KGRA show will be ending very soon and going on to their next show. But if you still want to watch us and continue to watch the show, we're on War Party Paranormal Facebook and War Party Paranormal YouTube. Just got to throw that out. Continue. Sorry for the interruption. I had to be compliant.
Exactly.
You're very compliant, Eric. Good job.
I try my best. Compliant in the paranormal world as well.
Scottie, real quick. So you that's how you got started, is you lived in a haunted home and you guys had a paranormal team come out, and then you said, I got to do this.
Yeah, well, I grew up with it. My mother was a weirdo. I mean, we had the Time Life series of the supernatural right by the Encyclopedia Britannica. It was like, these are things you need to know. Here you go. My mom was very esoteric, so I grew up with it. I didn't even realize that not everybody had a ghost. I thought everybody had one until I started having people come over, like, when I was 6, 7, 8 years old for sleepovers, and they're on the phone, 9 o'clock. Their parents, come get me. There's stuff going on here. I'm like, what? Your rocking chairs don't rock by themselves. Your lights don't go on and off. I don't understand. You don't have.
So Jenny has a question that she's dying to ask. She's like begging. Jenny's on our team, and she wants to know what investigation or item that you collected scared you the most, where it really creeped you out and stayed with you. Anything like that? I'm sure there's been many. Or
there's tons. I think probably the one of that's up on the top list would be the haunting in Connecticut. Okay. The documentary was more accurate than the movie one, but again, when you experience something firsthand, is what is more intriguing than anything. You can read 1,000,001 stories, but once you experience it, once you witness it, that alters you and changes you because it's no longer a story. Now it's a part of your reality.
Right.
So, witnessing it and seeing something to that degree in a house, that altered me to this day. And that's 33 years ago now, that one particular case.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. That one would stick in my memory as well. Yeah, we're getting a lot of questions here coming through. Let's see what else we got here.
I got something that you don't know about Scottie, or maybe you do know.
What?
She's our official baker, snack goods bringer, supplier.
Yeah, she's
she's always bringing stuff on our investigations: brownies, cookies, cakes.
We won't go hungry, that's for sure. She's our paranormal.
I'm just trying to entice you to come down to South Florida.
I got to make sure they get their sugar rush to make that, the last leg of the investigation.
That's why she's doing it.
Get us jacked up on sugar.
Yep.
Exactly. You have to be because it's a late night.
I sit there, I feed them, and I say, go get me evidence.
Then we come back. Scottie, look what we found.
Here, have a cookie. You did good.
Sit down, have a cookie.
Exactly. Listen to CVP. Awesome. Here, have a cookie.
Here, have a brownie. You did good.
She's like the mama hen of More Party Paranormal.
I'm more like the herder of the cats.
So
Yeah.
I actually, yeah, exactly.
You get out of line, she'll kick you in the ass. No lie.
So here's a good question here. What did you think of the Conjuring movies, the cases in the movies, like how they portrayed it?
Conjuring 1 was pretty cool. The perspective, the case itself was something I had heard about my entire life and everything, and again with a lot of it, watching it and seeing it and the interaction with it, it's pretty cool. Conjuring 2, again, the Enfield voice cases. I mean, that was a dynamite case. There was quite a bit. What I got the biggest kick out of, there was so much controversy when they were releasing it, saying Ed and Lorraine Warren were never even in that house, never dealt with the family or anything. And I'm like, no, there's tapes, there's photographs, there's everything. What are you talking about? I remember my uncle went over there with 2 other researchers and spent several days in the house. And I'm like, but anyhow, Conjuring 3, it was just all over the place. So it encompassed like several different cases, and it just got, to me, it got very confusing on the way they structured it and the way they did it. Now, out of all of them, you're never going to believe which one is my favorite, and it's one of the offshoots, and that's The Nun. The Nun freaking creeped me out. So, it was.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah.
So.
Huh?
I haven't seen that one yet, so
Wow,
I want to check
watch
it out.
Watch it. It's creepy. Anyways,
Watching it tonight.
yeah, it's worth it. And supposedly they finally, because COVID's ending now 2 years later, they kicked back in, or they're ramping back up the production on The Nun 2 from what I've seen on the internet. So.
Interesting. So we have another question from AJ. Do you have one experience that stands out above the rest that changed your life or beliefs on the way you investigate now?
Probably more I go more with the spiritual aspects of that. And the simple fact that, do I believe that the positive can outweigh the negative? Absolutely. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. We were working on this horrendous case. All this crazy stuff was happening. This bright light comes in. It was the most bizarre thing I ever witnessed, through the windows, through the doors, through the cracks, up through it actually blinded us where we were covering our eyes. And it was so spontaneous. All the activity totally stopped in that house. And it blew my mind And it was just something that I probably will never forget, because to me, I always looked at that as divine intervention that took place with all that.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's just bizarre with a lot of that when something on a positive level occurs. See, when things happen on a positive level, the good ghost to ghost stories are things that I really like. But most people,
I think there's more positive than negative. People don't realize
I
that.
agree.
They think everything paranormal might be bad,
Yeah, but everybody wants to hear about The Exorcist. That's what they want to hear about.
Yeah,
nobody wants to hear about the good stuff. They all want to hear what scared you the most.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, but in a way, what you just said, like that divine intervention, like that would be somewhat startling in a way, right? I mean, that's a crazy thing to happen. Like if that happened to me, I would.
But you probably had a sensation of peace and calmness and
and I didn't even mention that. We did. It was like serene came over the entire situation. So it was bizarre. It was crazy. And there's one thing about me. A lot of times I don't react in the moment. If that makes any sense to you.
No, it does.
Because then I have to process things, and I have to think about things, and I have to look back on them, and I'll call somebody up 2 or 3 days later. Did that really happen?
Right. Because
and they'll go, John, you were right there. And I go, I know, but it's just a fact of it. And then I have to process it and look it over and evaluate it. It's just something I've always done that. My uncle.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
when I see something amazing, like my brain can't process it. It has to take a while. Like that did not happen, did it? Really?
Yeah.
Like sometimes, like I'll go back and watch footage, and I'll get goosebumps watching myself go through something on the camera. When I was actually there and experiencing it, I was as calm as a cucumber.
Yeah.
So no, I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Delayed reaction.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And my uncle always used to tell me, he goes, "That's to your benefit, kid." He goes, he said, because you don't react right away. He goes, you have to usually process it
and analyze it.
I'm more intrigued. Like I go to where it's happening, so I want to know what the heck is this. It doesn't like really scare me.
But there are things I'll back off of.
Well.
There are situations where, I'll take that step back and I'll just say to myself, gonna leave well enough alone.
Yeah.
And usually
you don't want that tiger out of the cage.
Yeah, usually if I follow my instinct and just say, leave well enough alone, it's one of the best moves I can make when I do stuff like that.
Scotty, what were you gonna say?
Nothing. I was just gonna say I'm the one that I'll sit when something will happen. I'll sit there and I'll think about it, and then I'll go. I automatically want to debunk stuff, so I will charge in to what's going on. I'll find because I want to know. I don't think I've ever had something happen where I was like, where I did back off, where I was like, no, you know what? I'm just gonna leave that lie because that's just not in me. I can't just leave it lie. I have to go find out what it is, and if I can't find out what it is. Then I'll sit and think about it, and it will take days to try and figure out what I saw, what happened, who was there, did that really happen? So for me, I'm like, because I get a lot of these younger investigators, they come up and
that's whippersnappers.
They hear these whippersnappers nowadays. They hear a noise. Or they get touched or something and they automatically just want to run. Yeah. And it's like, no running. There is no running. You stop, you think, you figure out what it is. And if you get scared, get somebody else and say, hey, can you walk me out?
Exactly.
I'm not doing this.
It's
Scotty. I see him. Scotty, I see a miss. No, it's the humidity.
Yeah,
when I'm the most cautious though with residential, that's where I keep my guard up and I take that step back and I go, no, I need to evaluate. I need to figure out what's going on. I mean, if we're out in a haunted jail or one of the penitentiaries or something, and that's different. I look at that so differently. Mary Ellen Guiley, Rosemary Ellen Guiley.
God rest her soul.
And oh God, how I miss that woman. But anyhow, she was like my sister. But anyhow, we were in shit. You were just there recently, Tennessee.
Waverly.
Waverly.
Yeah.
Okay, years ago, we were down in Waverly, and shadow people were up on one of the floors, and they were bebopping back and forth, and we were standing there, and I looked down, I go, "Row," and she goes, "There's the shadow people," and I went charging right towards the shadow people, and she kept saying, don't do that, that they'll take off, and boom, they took off. Then I walked right back over to her. She goes, "Now you did it. We can't capture nothing." She, "I told you not." I said, "No, I wanted to know what it was. And what, was there a reflection? Was it something occurring?" And I remember she turned and looked at me, and John, and I go, "Yeah, Ro." She goes, "Sometimes you just need to leave things alone."
Well, I got something funny to have to tell you about Waverly. Most people here that are watching already know it, but I was like going up the stairwell to the third floor hallway, and I see these bats like floating around in the stairwell, and
oh yeah,
pretty much I just have my IR camera, and like I have a flashlight with a red filter, so I can have my eyes in tune with the darkness. And I take one step out of the hallway, and I see two bats flying side by side, like
big
perpendicularly. They look like one big blob, and it was like sputtering real fast. And I see the eyes. I'm like, "Oh my God, I saw a crawler." Like, I can go home now.
He screamed so loud, and and I've investigated countless times with Eric, and he's very like stoic. Like when we're investigating, he doesn't get startled. And I heard him scream, and I was on the floor above him, and I was like, "What was that?" And we looked at the video a couple times later. But tell him about the EVP you got after that.
Oh, and the weird thing was okay, so I had to go back, of course, because I had to see what was going on. But it messed up my whole investigation because I had all these like things I wanted to do. But I'm like, no, I saw a crawler. I can go home now. Like, the investigation's over now. Mm-hmm. Until I saw the video the next morning. But I went back to the nurse's station and did an EVP session. And my question was, that thing that I saw, was it human or inhuman? So I played back my recorder. And right before I asked a question, I hear bat. And then when the question's over, bat. Bat.
Wow.
Like, they were like, "You idiot, it was a bat." I'm sorry, I'm from Florida, but we don't have bats that big. We have
tiny little fruit bats.
Oh, I love my bat.
I had to share that with you.
I love my bat stories because all of us encounter the bats in a lot of these places.
Yeah.
I'll be talking about it and everything. And then as the weekend or something's going on, I'll go, "Did you see that bat? It had 3-foot wingspan. It almost picked me up by my hat and carried me out of the
story." It's like a fishing story.
Oh, God, every time you tell that freaking bat story, the bat keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, like a fishing story, right?
Yeah.
Bats on steroids.
Yeah, they had some.
I wanted to say, you were talking about seeing the shadow people. We were Waverly. There were 5 of us staring down the third floor hallway. All 4 of them were seeing shadow people. I wasn't seeing anything. And they're sitting there and they're like, "Oh my God, look at that. Look at that. They're everywhere." And I'm sitting there and I'm like, "Where? I can't see anything."
Yeah.
But I do want to tell a story. Tim Yancey.
Oh gosh, yes.
Well, Tim recently passed, but he was like a brother to me. And we were at the Gulf Stream investigating one time, and he likes to wander around in the dark by himself. Mm-hmm. That's how he gets the feel for places. But we were investigating. All of a sudden, Tim comes into the room where we are, and he goes, "A shadow person just went right through me," and he was freaked out. And I was like, "Man, Tim, I haven't seen you freaked out in a long time."
Gosh.
And sometimes you don't know if he's serious or if he's joking.
No, he was totally
he would do it with a straight face.
Yeah, definitely.
Tim was able to do it with a straight face. Yeah.
Tim, he was freaked out. Like I said, I've known Tim a long time too, and he was freaked out by that. I've seen him wander. We wander around mental hospitals and everything else, but that's the only time I've ever seen him come back to us and go, "Guys, You know,
Right.
he was freaked out, man. That was a good time for me. I was like, yay, Tim got freaked out.
He always makes it fun.
Yeah, because Tim was involved, right, with digging into the Amityville and stuff.
Oh gosh,
and-
yes.
He was doing
Oh, yeah.
lectures. Mhm.
Him and George lectured together.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Actually, all of us did.
Yeah.
At two of the campuses in Pennsylvania, it was Tim, George, myself, Scotty. You remember Lou Gentili?
Yep.
When
Lou.
Lou Gentili, and we had done several lectures together over the course of the years. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tim still had all the research and everything else because the George left to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he did one of the best presentations on Amityville, ever.
He did a great one. Yeah.
He did a great job
that
on
was
that.
on the Shock Docs, right?
Well, it was on
He
Shock
also-
Docs. Tim had his own presentation that he did, and it was like,
Yeah, he did.
if you were lucky enough to see it, you would always remember it.
Mhm.
Yeah, see, I met him briefly in the beginning when I joined the team, and I never did get a chance to have the honor to investigate with him.
Tim didn't really investigate that much. Tim walked around in the dark.
Yeah, he just liked to feel things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He didn't really investigate.
No
He wasn't-
equipment whatsoever.
He didn't even take a flashlight half the time.
He'll take a peanut cookie or maybe a brownie.
Yeah,
with
he
them along the way.
he always took a peanut butter cookie. He liked my peanut butter cookies, so I always made sure he had some.
So I have another interesting question that
Yeah.
a member in the chat asked. So what do you think of so-called visionaries, people who have the gifts for seeing angels, demons, and even apparitions in conversations with the Virgin Mary?
I think it's a possibility. I think that some of these things do occur. Again, from the collective perspective of energy per se,
Mhm.
do I think people could receive information from different sources? I believe in that, yeah.
Okay.
Do I believe there's things that people have hyped tremendously with some of the alleged, communications? Yes, I do
Mhm.
believe people have
Yeah.
Dramatized it.
traumatized
Yeah.
it. There you
There's
go.
Probably
Yeah.
a little bit too much of that, right?
hmm Yep.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've always been super skeptical of psychics and things like that, but I've met some, like some that are on our team, and we had April Doucette on not long ago, and
She blew our mind away.
Yeah, I mean, we Eric and I came up with an idea. We said, you know what? Why don't we have a raffle and have one of the guests come on and join us live and have her do a reading?
Get a
for
reading.
her.
hmm
Yeah.
And so they never met, random, and she nailed it. It was
Yeah. This
insane.
lady was so emotional. She's like in tears. I couldn't, and I was like jaw dropping. I couldn't believe it. Pretty amazing.
Yeah,
That's
she
it.
was pretty good.
A lot of there are a lot of true gifted people. There really are. Again, and
But yeah, like you said, though, there is a lot of people
Hype.
that aren't.
yeah, and
Mhm.
again, you learn. I think when, especially being in this field, you could tell right away when you're working with a psychic or a medium.
Yeah.
What's going to go, what's going to happen, or
Mhm.
it's the nature of it. You learn from it because
Yeah.
I have several very, very gifted psychic medium friends that don't get involved with doing paranormal investigations or anything. But if I call them up and ask them, try and help me out or something, they'll help me out.
Yeah.
And it's
The
amazing.
good ones don't advertise it. They don't want to.
They'll just do their thing.
Mhm.
So again, it's just again, you have both with it. So I take it with a grain of salt and when dealing with it.
And someone asked, do you do online lectures? Because I'm interested in that.
Do I do online lectures? No.
Oh, okay.
No.
And somebody
you were-
else asked, "Are you doing any more new books?"
Oh, yeah.
There's 3 in the works right now.
Okay.
3?
Yeah.
That's a lot of writing.
You're pretty prolific there, Johnny.
Not me. I have Okay, Debbie and Larry Elward, the one that I did the last 2 books with. It was almost the same thing like with Rosemary. Again, her and I just knew each other so well that I could just tell her the basics of something, and she was able to pull it together. And Debbie and Larry and I, all of us have worked together 40 years plus. So Debbie always journalizes all the stories and puts the story line together and everything. I'm terrible at that. I admit that. I'm just not that good at it. But she can create the story on the things and different things that occurred and happened with us, and pulls together. And she'll send me over a chapter and I'll read it and I'll go, man, that's freaking good. Again, there's people that are gifted to be able to do that. Me, I can speak up a storm, but you ask me to start putting something together to write it, I'm terrible at it, because I do what, I saw the ghost run across the room. Yeah. Again, it's just the way I do it. Just not, again, good at it, but yeah, no, there's 3 books that are in the works. I think 1 is pretty much near completion. The other 2 I know are like halfway in it. So,
very cool. Yeah, we'll definitely have to keep an eye out for that.
And go ahead, Mike.
No.
I had another question. This is just me. So what's out there now? Like you were just saying earlier, like you, Tim Yancey, used to go to these lectures with Ed and Lorraine. Like, what's out there now where people can like find information like that? Are there any type of lectures people can go to learn more about how they did things and their teachings and stuff like that?
Oh, absolutely. There's tons of conventions that are out there. And a lot of times at these conventions, they have what we call workshops.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I wanted to say, workshops.
Yeah. There's a ton of them out there. A lot of people do those. One person I endorse, Scottie might know, Tim Shaw. I think you're familiar with Tim Shaw. He does a lot of that, and he's fantastic at teaching people the elements of a lot of different things. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that do it, that are very, very good at doing it.
Well, don't you have a convention coming up?
Yeah, I got a couple coming up. I got one in PA at the end of the month. Then I have another one. Yeah, I got 2 things at the end of the month. So the other one's a theater in Rhode Island that I'll be doing. So I'm looking forward to that because that's a brand new experience.
Are you going to be doing the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash?
I don't believe I will be there. No, I don't think so.
Scottie,
you never know. You never know. Are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to be up in Pennsylvania for a month this summer visiting family. So
I thought you told me they wouldn't let you back in PA.
Hey, don't tell the authorities. Come on, man. Be chill.
But I never say no, because you never know when I'll pop up or show up somewhere. You never know.
That's what I said. I was thinking maybe I'd get to see you up there. I'm doing a lecture Friday on the history of paranormal investigating.
Cool. Excellent. Excellent.
Well, that's something I did with Tim Yancey, and then he had the gall to go die, Now it's like I have to carry on without him.
But she's training these young whippersnappers over here. She's our mentor.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, but you guys got to learn how to bake. Who's going to make the cookies when she's not around?
I know.
Yeah, they do store-bought.
That'll be another workshop.
I used to work.
I could lay off a couple cookies, though. I'll tell you what.
No, you guys will freaking love this. There was this one couple that used to work with all of us way back in the day. They would whip out a grill, start cooking hamburgers and hot dogs. Every time we'd go out, and all this stuff would come out, and I'm going, "This is like going to a barbecue, not an investigation." But it was so cool, because then we'd gather around and have a bite to eat and everything. But it was
well,
cool.
You said it was about positivity, right?
Yeah,
there you go.
That's it. I mean, you break bread with people, and you get, you laugh, and you bring the vibrations up, and
there you go.
Life's good. Life's good.
in the comments, Armando, that's right. Last investigation we did down at the Last Chance Saloon, he broke out the Cuban coffee. He made Cuban coffee there. He's like, all I need is
right there at our investigation.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah, no, for
Hit the
sure.
spot.
I'm breaking him in slowly, but like,
Yeah.
So
that'll be a paranormal / baking lecture.
there we do. Paranormal Bake Off.
There you
Exactly.
go.
They did
That's
that
a show
already.
for you.
They did that.
Did they?
Did they really?
Yeah, Zach Bagans did a show on the Bake Off.
I was on the Food Network. It was Halloween.
Yeah, I can't remember the name. Yeah,
interesting.
it was around Halloween, and he was judging, I guess, all the different foods and the cakes and things.
I'm not talking about judging. I'm talking about you paranormal investigators get in there and bake and let us taste it.
That's a show.
We'll be
yeah.
the judges.
I can grill, I can cook. Bacon's not for me.
You might need to sage it after
You
eating
gotta
some
follow
other
too much
stuff.
direction.
Then we'll do a paranormal chili cook-off. How's
There
that?
you go. I'm in.
Although we got to
So-
do up in Connecticut for Johnny because it's cold up there.
Yeah.
No, wait till the winter time when I'm down south there. When I come down to visit.
Johnny,
Okay.
is your museum still open right now, or?
No, I don't have it open. It's seriously, if you ever seen it, you would be like, he's definitely an old person. He's got all this.
Well, hello, you got your
Smile.
helpers right here. We'll get everything.
I mean,
nice and
it's just
tidy
like,
for you.
and the running joke was just yesterday when the kids were here and everything. They go, "Dad, did you start sorting through everything and marking things?" And I just go about my business, doing what I got to do, and won't answer anybody. My wife turned around and went, "No, he's going to leave it for all of us to end up doing." So
Yeah, because I was going up to New York in November, and I was looking into maybe going to the Warrens Museum, but I don't think they're open right now either, right? They have some zoning things going on.
yeah, they're theirs is closed too. Yep.
That's Tony, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got to come up to Connecticut in the summertime, and you got to come down here in the winter.
Exactly. And we
Sounds like a plan.
we don't want
And
to
we're taking you to the beaches. I promise you. We'll take you to the beach.
You
That'll be
heard
the
that,
number one
Scott?
out of
Scotty.
priority. Scotty's coming.
Not
Bringing
even-
Boo, her dog Boo.
Scotty, not even the House of Refuge.
That's
The
how
House
on the
of
beach.
Refuge isn't on a beach.
Yes, it is.
It's got rocks.
There's beach.
Big rocks.
No, the Cape Florida Lighthouse. Keep it
Now
sane. That's right on the beach.
No,
There you go.
St. Augustine.
You can
Lighthouse?
bring Boo. Bring Boo.
All
who
right,
doesn't like the beach either? It's too sandy.
guys. Well, Johnny, we don't want to keep you too long. I know we slotted you for an hour. We're running
I
in
know.
like a half hour
We
over.
can have this go on for like 4 hours easily.
I know.
Right.
You're great to talk to.
We'll bring the
I mean,
we'll bring the Cuban coffee.
Hey, it was great being on. It
Yeah,
was
it's amazing.
dynamite.
Learned a lot.
All right, guys. I'm sure we'll be catching up. 'Cause
Yeah.
I know Cookie Scotty. That's a good thing for her, huh?
Johnny,
No!
is there anything, Johnny, is there
Cookie
anything you want
Scotty.
to plug?
No, Johnny.
yeah. Is there anything that you want to throw out there, like a website or anywhere they could find you? Social
Yeah,
media
you
stuff,
just
anything?
go to johnzaffis.com and takes you into my museum site, my store, where my books and everything are. And usually on Facebook is where I post where I'll be lecturing.
Okay.
Or I show up. I usually put it on there and usually get that to get people to see. And hopefully they show up and we have a good time.
All right.
All
Scotty,
right, guys.
Scotty, where can they find you?
Facebook, Instagram, GhostHunter561.
Warparty.com.
Warparty.com, warpartyparanormal.com, whatever our website is.
She'll be coming soon to TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh, joy.
You sound like me now.
By the way, almost every Saturday night, Scotty will do a live on her.
Yes, you will.
On her Facebook page, so you can stay tuned.
No,
for
I'm
that,
wrong.
too.
I've been a bad girl. I'm restricted now. I can't go live. on
Oh,
Facebook.
really?
Facebook jail.
She does end up in jail quite often.
I think I'm hilarious. Facebook disagrees.
Hey, that's all
right.
that counts, right? That's all that
Okay,
matters.
guys. Everybody have a good night. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
Scotty. I'll
you
talk
too.
to you
Okay.
later.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was awesome.
That was very
great
awesome.
to talk to. If you guys want to find me, I'm at www.fla paranormalresearcher.com. It'll bring you all of my different social media stuff. Eric, where can they find you?
You can find me, Ghost Hunter of South Florida, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and also War Party Paranormal. You can find the team, like Scotty said. Show your emblem, Scotty.
Mine too.
Wait, oh, wrong
Wrong
one.
side. There you go. War Party Paranormal. You can find them on Instagram, Facebook, and you're watching here on YouTube. And also, don't forget, KGRA has some amazing shows that are on there as well. Some great people that we mentioned before. So check out the KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. And check out Scotty's mustache.
I must ask you a question. Oh, sorry.
And I want to thank everyone for being engaged. You guys are freaking amazing. I mean,
awesome crowd tonight.
every
Thank you,
night
everybody.
it's like it gets better and better. So I hope you guys are enjoying the entertainment. We're gonna bring more. It's coming. We got something special next week. So again, thanks everyone who's watching, and I'm gonna let Mike take this thing home.
All right, guys. And again, big thank you from me and everybody else. Scotty, awesome. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for bringing
Thanks.
your friend Johnny on. He was awesome. And so are you.
Freaking awesome.
Thank you.